Let me ask you a question today. Do all dogs go to heaven? You've heard the movie, you've seen the movie, right? Well, let me explain to you a little story what happened to me and Joanne. Joanne, my wife, had a dog when we first got together. His name was Mo, Momo for short. But he was with us in my life and her life after we were married, probably for about 6 years. And he was a great dog. He was a wonderful dog. But the thing is, Joanne was so connected to this dog more than any dog she ever had in her whole life. That he was the best dog. He acted right. He did certain things to her that she remembers every day. When he passed away, probably about 6 years ago, it was the most devastating thing to her life. And she was so upset. She cried on and off for days. She was so connected to this dog. So now, 6 years later, 5 years later, whatever it is, we started talking about Mo again. And we started to learn how to meditate. And in one of her first meditations, she saw him because she was so upset, so guilty, so had all these feelings going through her life that this dog always stuck out to her. Anyway, during her meditation one morning, she saw Mo sitting on the front porch of a house. It was a wooden house, and it had those steps in the front, and he was sitting right at the top of the steps. And he was waiting, like he's waiting for her to come to heaven. And so she had that experience, and it relieved so much stress in her life and so much pain. And pets are really loving and forgiving, and just they're amazing ways we can feel the presence of God and the divine in our lives every day. Some dogs are stupid, I got it. Some dogs are, but everything's there for a reason, right? Yin and yang. So anyway, we had this conversation about Mo many times in our time. And when she was meditating, she had such a great peace that he was okay, that he was over there waiting for her. And so we never really had the conversation. So since our marriage, and we moved in this house in Spring Hill, Florida, we have had a few dogs. We've always had one dog. It was Zoe, if you've ever seen Zoe in some of our videos. But she's like a white dog. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The story is about him, right? So anyway, Mo was an amazing Labrador mix, and he was just a good boy. He was a black dog, and he had like a couple of white spots on his body, and he had actually one right on his chest that Joanne remembers a lot. Anyway, we had desires in the past for a dog, or she had. I never had. I was fed up with all the animals and the responsibility, and I wanted to travel and this sort of stuff. So I was never up for it. We've had a couple dogs in here after he passed away, but it just was never the same for her. So we had to give the dog. There was one dog. It was so crazy. He would scratch her on her arms, and he would jump up on her. And he weighed 90 pounds. He bit somebody in the front yard when they were doing some work in our yard. So we had to move him onto another family. We just transitioned him. Anyway, we as you know, I do work all around the 3 counties here in Florida, West Florida. And I was out one day, and I drove up to do some work for a customer. I pulled in the back. I dropped the back on my trailer, and this little black dog come running up to me. And I thought, where's he coming from? I didn't know they had a new puppy here in this house. But the dog came up, and I petted it, did the whole normal thing of what you do for puppies and stuff. And he's really cute. And he was black with a couple of white spots on him. So what we did was, I ignored it. I didn't want nothing to do it. I didn't want another dog in my life. So I put it off and put the dog back in the owner's hands and moved on. I did all the work, and while I was doing the work, their young daughter was sitting out there with the puppy. Well, the puppy, his name is Loki, kept coming up into my trailer and sitting in my trailer. And I was like, what are you doing? Go back to your owners. Nothing's happening here. Nothing. And then over and over and over. So I later on, about a week later, it was a Sunday afternoon. We had gone to visit a friend in Pinellas County, and I know I had to drop some stuff off at this house to do the next job. So I had some samples for them to look at. So I drove up in there, and lo and behold, the mom was out there. I'm a customer, was out there with the puppy. And just so happened, her story is that I thought it was their puppy, but she actually fosters them and finds homes for them. And anyway, I felt the spirit in me have a great peace about this puppy. So just so happens, Joanne was with me that day. And I told her to get out of the car and go pet the puppy. What do you think? And so she went over and petted him and like, wow, this one looks like Mo. And I said, yeah, I know, right? So we blew it off for a while, and we talked to the customers a little bit, gave them the samples. And then something happened. Something in me happened. I don't know what it was. Something clicked. It was the divine. I don't know what it was. And he said, ask her if she wants this puppy. And she's like, what? You want a dog? So this is how we know it's God. This is how we know it's the divine. And so in all this, we brought the puppy home. The owner was very good, happy with us. We had to do an application for him. Within 15 minutes, they said it was the best application they ever had in the past 5 months or something like that. And it was like, wow, all we said was we want to have another dog for another dog for our other dog to companionship. And they're like, good. So anyway, we brought Loki home, and he fit in really well with us, and he's very happy. Zoe finally it's been about a month now he's been here with us. But there's some things that happened during this time with him that were life-changing. One is he had a little bit of growing with us and testing us out about peeing in the house and doing the whole potty training thing. But he was potty trained very quickly. Mo was straightforward. He never, nothing. That dog would hold if we left for 2 weeks, that dog would not go potty in the house. So the potty training has been very, very good. He also just kind of looks at me and stares at me in the morning. And Joanne, he kind of has this subtle, like, I love you. I've always known you. I know who you are. I was sent here. So one meditation Joanne had was, the first one was, she thought Mo had sent him to us. She thought that. Then she had her meditation, and it was the very answer she got. And that Mo was in charge of getting that puppy. And this is crazy. This is the crazy part, okay? Because you don't think dogs go to heaven, or dogs just come and go. That's what I always thought. But some really weird stuff has been happening. And so yesterday morning, I'm sitting there in my chair and I'm watching my YouTube stuff, and all of a sudden he comes over. The dog just gets out of his little bed, goes over and puts his head on my knee, like he had to go outside. Yeah, that's what I felt. He had wanted to go outside. And then so I got up and he followed me outside and he went, let me tell you, this was a miracle for a puppy that's only a few months old. He's it was 9 weeks when we got him, maybe 12 weeks. And 13 weeks. Crazy, right? Anyway, I took him outside, went potty. So I told Joanne last night before I went to bed, I said, hey, something really weird happened with Loki yesterday. She goes, what? She goes, he put his head on my knee, and I took him, and he wanted to go. I could hear him, like, I want to go outside. So I took him out, like, telepathically, right? So I said, okay, I'll take it. He went straight outside, went potty. And she goes, no. Did he really? I said, yeah. Why are you so surprised? That's what Mo used to do. And I went, whoa, this is so cool. This is so cool. So my question is, we are all, and then I watched a video this morning on YouTube, and that all pets, and I've seen it over and over and over again too, in all my NDEs, that pets, the ones that are connected to you, will show up in your dreams, will show up to you in your, if you have a near-death experience. That was another thing, my near-death experiences. They always show up. They always, pets, my old pets show up, and in her, pets show up. But in these people and their testimonies, their pets show up. And I was like, what? So guess what? All dogs go to heaven. It's amazing the truths we've been finding out through these near-death experiences too. And I want to continue with those. If you want to hear more about what I found, subscribe. Come join our community and we can talk about it. I'm not here for big negative baloney. I was an evangelical Christian for so many years and didn't believe any of this stuff. So it's eye-opening. I didn't look for it. It came to me, right? As God's trying to wake us up. The divine is trying to Papa is trying to wake you up, wake us up to this whole different realm that's there that we don't see. So there's more to this. There's more to the near-death experiences that I've learned. But one of the greatest ones is peace and a lot of closure in our lives. So your dog is waiting for you. Your favorite puppy is waiting for you. Your favorite cat, your favorite bird, whatever, is waiting for you. In heaven, on the other side, call it whatever you wish. But it's amazing. And this dog, this is another thing about the dog, about Loki. He is like, I can actually not look at him, I can speak to him and he knows what to do. Like when Joanne has food and she's eating food, I'm a big thing on dogs don't get near you when you're eating your food. Don't come near the kitchen table. They don't do any of that. You go lay down. Or if you don't want to lay down, I'll put you outside because I don't want any disturbance. I don't like feeding dogs from the table. I have these rules, in my own heart that I grew up with. Hello. So, but I will look at him and I'll go, nope, that's all I gotta do. Nope, you ain't doing that. And he will come away from the chair and he will go to his bed at 13 weeks. Was that 3 months old? What dog is like that? And I believe that he can virtually understand what we're saying. Or it's telepathic. Dogs are vibrational. Cats are emotional. I learned that from YouTube. And so when you're upset and crying, they come to you. So do dogs. When Joanne's upset, Zoe will come right to her, and help her and kind of rub on her. You know what I mean? Anyway, these are all the weird things that have been happening. Hey, wait a minute. This is Loki, and this was Mo. I think I showed you too earlier, but I wanted you to reiterate how close they look together. They both are Labrador mixes, and they both have some kind of bull, not pit bull mix, I guess, but it's just amazing that's such a good mix in puppies. But the thing is, I think it's just a spiritual thing because we all have had some really cool dogs in our life, right? Yeah, comment below the names of your cool dogs. And I want to help you. I want to help you learn about the near-death experiences and stuff. So come join the family and let's have a good time. Have some peace in our life and know that there's a plan. There's a great one. That's another one. I think I'll do that video, and I'll do another video about that one. What I've learned in near-death experiences. That they're always there and they're always waiting for you to talk to them. All right. Anyway, love you. Have a great day.